Welcome back to Speducation. I am your host, Brandon Reed, and as always, if this is your first time to the channel, a special welcome to you. So, here's the thing. The reason that I started this channel was to better inform parents about special education so that they don't feel as intimidated and so they know what their rights are. Because I've always believed in the motto, the more informed a parent is, the more invested they are in their child's education. Now, having said that, I don't normally involve talking or react to decisions that are made in politics or religion or even politically biased decisions that affect educational policy. And the reason why is because I don't want my channel to become divisive and I don't want to alienate anyone. But occasionally there are stories that do arise that need to be addressed. And so this story caught my eye. What is it? Well, check it out for yourself. A Laguna Beach community questions decisions to send some autistic students out of the district. The superintendent and board say they are bound by the decisions of specialists who determine the students' needs to go to El Toro High to receive needed services. That's right. Laguna Beach High School in Laguna Beach, California, said that they don't have the resources to help support autistic teens. The two individuals involved are Sailor Jones and Jason Salgado, and their families, of course, are upset about this, as expected. So, what did the school system actually say about these two students? Sailor's needs were assessed differently by a team of specialists, including a school psychologist and therapist, who concluded that she should be sent to El Toro High, around 10 miles away in a different school district. Superintendent Valaria said, despite the pleas, the districts are not in a position to dictate something to the independent education plan team that evaluates each student who qualifies for special education. Really? You're not in a position to dictate? Well, see, the problem with that is that the individualized education plan team, the IEP team, consists of not only the school officials and special education teachers and psychologists and therapists, but it also consists of the parents. So everybody has to be in agreement on this decision. I don't think the parents were necessarily in agreement. But what does the federal government say? Yeah, the federal government idea. It's that Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Let's see what it says. IDEA places two big responsibilities on states and their public schools. First, school districts must provide a free, appropriate public education, otherwise known as FAPE, to kids with disabilities, and these kids must learn side by side with peers as much as possible, something called least restrictive environment, or LRE. Schools must find and evaluate students who may have disabilities at no cost to families. This is known as child find. If a child has a qualifying disability, schools must offer special education and related services like speech therapy and counseling to meet the child's unique needs. These are provided through an individualized education program, otherwise known as an IEP. The goal is to help students make progress in school. Second, schools have to give parents a voice in their child's education. At every point in the process, IDEA gives parents specific rights and protections. These are called procedural safeguards. For example, one safeguard is that a school must get consent from parents before providing services to kids. Well, in case the school district was saying, you know what, federal law, those are just suggestions, really. I mean, we've got our own state laws. We know how to handle things. Well, let's see what the state law says about that. This is the Notice of Procedural Safeguards that was amended by the California Department of Education. So what exactly does it say? Well, it says that issues can be resolved through a due process hearing. When is a due process hearing available? You have the right as a parent to request an impartial due process hearing regarding the identification, assessment, and educational placement of your child or the provision of FAPE. Does my child's placement change during the proceedings? Well, no. The child involved in any administrative or judicial proceeding must remain in the current educational placement unless you and the school district agree on another arrangement. That's right. So the school can say whatever it wants. It can say that, well, unfortunately, we're not able to provide those types of services to Sailor and Jason. Unfortunately, we can't do it. But law, well, on the other hand, says no, you have to, at least until you come to an acceptable agreement. And of course, schools don't like due process hearings, but sometimes they are necessary. So, what did the community think about all this? Sailor's family were welcomed by 100 other members of the community who showed their support at the meeting, who pleaded with the Laguna Beach Unified School District trustees and Superintendent Jason Valoria to intervene. One of Sailor's friends even spoke to the school board on her behalf and pleaded with them not to send her to a different school.
Sailor is one of the nicest and most bubbly and kind people I know, and she's my best friend. And I've known her almost my whole life, and we have so many memories together, and she comes to my house all the time, and we hang out and we watch Mamma Mia over and over again. You know, we go in the hot tub, and it just makes me so sad that I'm not going to be able to see her every day. And I'm so excited to. And it's so upsetting because you guys see her as someone who's quiet and doesn't know how to interact with people, but I see her in a completely different way. And she comes up for sleepovers, and we just went to the OC Fair, and it was so fun. And she talks so much and sings so much. And she's so smart, and just really, she just represents like our city so much of who she is. And it just makes me so upset because she's like who I want to be as a person. She's just like, I look up to her, and it just makes me so upset that you guys don't want her here. Just please reconsider.
I really don't have any words. I mean, truly, no words. So, how did the school board respond? In response, the LBUSD president, Jan Vickers, said the speakers were heard, but stressed that she could not intervene even if she wanted to. We don't have hard hearts, she said. We don't make these decisions, but we can provide input and have staff come back to the Jones family. So did they? Did they respond? Did the school reach out to the Jones and Salgado families? You bet your ass they did. Stuart Jones, Sailor's father, who had retained legal representation, said that the district contacted him and that late Wednesday, August 21st, the day before school was to start, he was sent an acceptable agreement. Karen Arellano, Sagaldo's mother, said she was notified during the night, and a little after 7 o'clock a.m. Thursday, she said she got a call telling her to bring Jason to the high school. That's right. The school caved, which is probably the best decision that they could have made. Because again, if they had refused to provide any kind of services to the Salgado family or to the Jones family, then they probably would have had to face federal law. And that's probably what the acceptable agreement was. The acceptable agreement was that the school promised to provide services as long as the families didn't sue them, and they most likely would have lost. But again, these kinds of things happen all the time. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, what could you do? Well, that's actually what we're going to be talking about in my next video. So if you liked what you saw today, you found it interesting, or you learned something new, please click the like button. And if you want updates on future videos, feel free to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for updates on future videos. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or you have anything that you want to say about this story, please, by all means, drop a line in the comments section, and I would love to hear from you. And until next time, class dismissed.